Very good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1 here on News First. Today is the 24th of October 2022 and today is the Festival of Lights, Diwali. Before we move on further with the bulletin, we would like to wish all of our Hindu viewers here and across the globe a happy Diwali. I'm Jamal Ratnayaka for the News First team bringing you the news. Here are your headlines for tonight. Fuel quota for three-wheelers to be doubled from November. Registration to start from the Western province. Will the dual citizens in the current parliament lose their seats?
දැනට වාර්තා වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා 10 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා කියලා. මම හිතන්නේ දැන් ඒ ද්විත්ව පුරවැසි භාවය දරන සියලු දෙනාම නම්බුකාර පිටින් ඉල්ලා අස්විය යුතුයි.
Annual taxes on casinos increased by 150%. 7 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine against COVID to expire next Monday. Student activists detained under the PTA fall ill. Request made to direct them for medical treatment. Cyclone Sitrang forms in the Bay of Bengal. Will intensify into severe cyclone tomorrow. Your top story for tonight comes from the United Kingdom. Rishi Sunak will become the United Kingdom's new Prime Minister after winning the ruling Conservative Party leadership contest triggered by the dramatic resignation of Liz Truss last week. Sunak's win on Monday came days after Truss's resignation following her disastrous tax cut plans and policy U-turns plunged the markets into chaos. Rishi Sunak will be the UK's next Prime Minister following the drop of Penny Mordaunt out of the Tory leadership race in the final minutes before nominations closed. He is greeted by rapturous applause and banging on desks as he arrived to address Tory MPs following the result. Sunak will succeed Liz Truss 7 weeks after she defeated him in the previous Tory contest. The ex-Chancellor gained the support of well over half of Tory MPs, with Mordaunt struggling to reach the threshold of 100 MPs to get on the ballot. He will become the UK's first British Asian Prime Minister at age 42, the youngest in more than a century. Labour, however, have reiterated their call for a general election, as have the Scottish National Party and the Liberal Democrats. In more news from here at home, will dual citizens in Parliament lose their seats under the provisions of the 21st Amendment, which was passed last week? A discourse has emerged on the matter in recent days, and the latest contributor to this debate is parliamentarian Partli Champika Ranawaka, who claims 10 parliamentarians are dual citizens.
දැනට වාර්තා වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා 10 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා කියලා.
It has been reported that there are 10 dual citizens. I believe it is best if all those dual citizens keep their dignity and resign. They have no right to remain in parliament. If you are holding a position of influence, you must first have a passion for your nation. If someone pledges to take up arms for one country and hold office in another, they cannot even be considered a citizen of this country.
ඔහු අඩු ගානේ මෙරටේ පුරවැසියෙක් හැටියටවත් සලකන්න බෑ.
විසිදෙවන සංශෝධනය අපි සම්මත කර ගැනීමේදී
When passing this amendment, Basil Rajapaksha's faction opposed it. One reason for that was the dual citizenship matter. A strong request was made from Ranil Wickremesinghe to refrain from dissolving parliament. Later, the president claimed he will not dissolve parliament until 4.5 years lapse. That is how those who opposed this amendment were convinced to vote for it. But the Crow faction did not agree because of the dual citizenship matter.
කපුටු පාර්ශවය ඒකට කොහෙත්ම කැමති උනේ නැහැ. කපුටු පාර්ශවය ඒත් විරුද්ධ වුණා අර ද්විත්ව පුරවැසිභාවය කියන කාරණේ මත.
ද්විත්ව පුරවැසිභාවය පිළිබඳව
we need to get an affidavit from MPs regarding dual citizenship because we don't know if they will reveal it voluntarily. Some might conceal it. We need to present this under the RTI and get a list from the Secretary General of Parliament. I do not know if it is being done.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මහලේකම්තුමාගෙන් මෙවැනි විමසීමක් කරන්න. එහෙම තියෙනවද කියලා මම නම් දන්නේ නැහැ.
According to the chairman of the National Elections Commission, Nimal Punchiheva, the National Elections Commission is not empowered to refuse nominations for a dual citizen to contest an election or remove a dual citizen who is currently in Parliament. He added, if such an act is to happen, a person's dual citizenship must be challenged in court.
The two student activists who are currently being held under the controversial Prevention of Terrorism Act have taken ill, and supporters have called for their immediate hospitalization for treatment.
පහුගිය සෙනසුරාදා මම ගියා පොඩි ආමඳුරව බලන්න. ඒ අනකොටත් ගොඩක් සනීප නැහැ. යාට බෙහෙත් තරම් දීලත් නැහැ. මම කියන්නේ කිසිම වරදක් නොකර හිර කරගෙන ඉන්නවා මදිවට මම බලධාරීන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලන්නේ පුළුවන් තරම් එයාලගෙන යාට වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රතිකාර ලබා දෙන්න සහාය දෙන්න කියලා තමයි මම ඉල්ලන්නේ.
හාමුදුරුවෝ රෝගී වෙලා තමයි ඉන්නේ. රෝගී වෙලා එහෙම නැත්නම් උණ රෝගයේ වැළඳ.
The Venerable Thero has fever. For the past 3 days, none of the authorities had taken measures to provide medication. Vasantha Mudalige is also suffering from an injury. Their right to medical attention has been denied. That is a fundamental right. The IUSF has had 30 leaders and 13 of them were killed in conspiracies. They are trying to intimidate us with various forms of suppression.
මේ නොයෙක් විදිහට මර්ධනය ගෙනල්ලා මර්ධන අනපනත් ගෙනලා අපි බය කරන්න නම් හදන්නේ ඒක බොහොම විහිළුවක්.
එතකොට මේ අරගලෙන් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට
Ranil Wickremesinghe became president from the Aragalaya. They want the youth who have been misled to make confessions. Who are the groups that were misled? They are trying to intensify their efforts against the Aragalaya. The arrests have not stopped. The European Union and the UNHRC have called to repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act, but the PTA still remains.
ඒම තත්ත්වයක් තුළ තවමත් මේක තියාගෙන ඉන්න.
The Aragalaya National Movement also convened a media briefing.
මේ මර්ධනය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම හරහා වික්‍රමසිංහ උත්සාහ කරනවා.
Through suppression, Wickremesinghe is attempting to redirect the aspirations of the activists. In addition, he is trying to intimidate the businessmen and middle class that supported the Aragalaya and also break the link between the people and the Aragalaya. So if someone visits us in prison or court, intelligent personnel are being deployed to their residences and business establishments. Many officers are being made to the activists, including offers to migrate. Wickremesinghe is engaged in a new level of suppression. In addition, a cyber army from Wickremesinghe's camp is working on Facebook and WhatsApp. They are trying to rope in the activists into various events. Do not try to suppress the Aragalaya through such means.
බොරුවට ඔයගේ මුග්ධ ක්‍රියාවලින් හරහා අරගලය මර්ධනය කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න එපා.
The fuel quota for three-wheelers will be doubled from November.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed to increase the weekly fuel quota of 5 litres issued for professional passenger transport 3-wheelers to 10 litres. As the first phase, the registration of professional 3-wheelers in the Western Province is scheduled to commence on the 1st of November. This was revealed during the discussion held on Monday between the President's senior advisor to National Security and Chief of Staff to the President Sagala Ratnayaka and the professional 3-wheeler associations. Accordingly, from the 6th of November, 10 litres of fuel per week will be issued to all 3-wheeler passenger vehicles in the Western Province. The registration of passenger transport 3-wheelers will commence from the 16th to the 13th of November, after which it is planned to issue the fuel quota to 3-wheelers in other provinces of the island.
Vehicle operators in Sri Lanka have called for the government to provide them with a grace period to settle their leasing installments that are overdue.
The Joint Association of Leasing and Debt Installment Payers and other organizations in the transport sector convened a media briefing with police protection on Monday as they made an appeal for a grace period to settle their leasing installments that are overdue.
ඇත්තටම මේ වෙද්දී රට තුල ඊටාම අපහසුකාරී තත්ත්වයක්.
The situation in the country is not good. Leasing companies have already taken measures to repossess the vehicles that are overdue with their leases. The Finance Leasing Act number 56 of 2000 details how a vehicle can be repossessed. If there is objection, it is paramount to take action at the district court. There is no provision to assault and take away the vehicle. We will warn the repo men that we will not allow anyone to seize vehicles through intimidation.
රටේ ලීසින් හා ණය වාරිකයන්ගේ සංගමය ඇතුළු මේ ඉන්න කිසිදු සංගමයක් ඉදිරියේදී ඉඩ දෙන්න නැතේ කියන එක ඔය මැරදී සීසර්ලාට අපි මතක් කර දෙන්නට ඕනේ.
Meanwhile, employees attached to hotels say that the prevailing economic crisis has affected them severely. Ever since the April 21st attacks and the subsequent COVID-19 pandemic, hotel workers have suffered plenty economically. What did we tell this government and its ministers? We told them that hotel workers have faced serious economic woes given the prevailing situation. They have bank loans they obtained. Today, we asked for a moratorium. However, the government did not listen. We will take to the streets on the 27th. Hotel employees in the tourism sector are facing many economic woes. Hotel employees who live in urban areas such as Colombo mainly depend on the service charge more than their basic salary. If the service charge was to increase, more and more tourists must come to the country. They are talking about the nightlife and Disneyland at times, but we don't see a proper plan. The economy is on a downward spiral. As the government strives for fiscal consolidation, Sri Lanka's State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya says a decision was reached to increase annual taxes on casinos by 150%. The annual taxes on casinos have been increased 150% from 200 million rupees to 500 million rupees with effect from the 1st of August. In addition, the Betting and Gambling Levy Act will be promptly amended with the aim of increasing taxes. A high registration fee will be charged for casinos and a $200 fee will be levied for a local to enter a casino, which means that a Sri Lankan can go to a casino after paying 72,000 rupees. For live betting centres, the annual tax will be increased from 600,000 rupees to at least 1 million, while the turnover tax has been increased from 10% to at least 15%. The annual levy imposed on betting sub-agents will be increased from 4 million rupees to 5 million rupees, while the annual tax imposed on non-live betting centres will be increased from 50,000 to 75,000 rupees. In addition, an income tax of 40% will be levied on the income or profit of such businesses. As you know, Sri Lanka's Ceylon tea is historically famous the world over. However, according to a recent report, Sri Lanka's Ceylon tea production has decreased to 7.8%. Sri Lanka's Ceylon tea production is down 7.8% in September 2022 from a year earlier to 20.9 million kilograms, while the total output for the 9 months dipped 18% from the previous year. From January to September 2022, the total production is 192.37 million kilograms compared to 234.72 million kilograms for the same period in the previous year. Industry data published by Forbes and Walker's Tea Brokers show this would be the lowest recorded for the period under review since 1996, where it recorded 188.40 million kilograms for the corresponding period. The data also said on a cumulative basis, all elevations have shown a decline over the corresponding period of 2021. The data showed in September 2022, high-grown teas moved up 14.05% to 4.6 million kilograms, medium-grown fell 3.6% to 3.4 million kilograms, and low-grown were down 14.5% to 14.7 million kilograms. The national average tea price in the month of September was $5.52 or 1,981.63 cents in rupees. Sri Lankan tea has been earning higher prices for tea exports in rupees after the currency was depreciated in March against the US dollar in 2022. September tea exports too dipped 8.11% to 21.54 million kilograms. Even in 2020, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, tea production had totaled 201.43 million kilograms for the period. Industry growers had said that some estates were cut off from fertilizers for up to 18 months, and they warned that it will have a detrimental impact in the years to come. Sustainable solutions are yet to be given to the issues faced by Sri Lankan farmers as well. A sustainable solution is yet to be provided to the crisis farmers of Sri Lanka are facing. Even though cultivation of the Maha season has commenced, farmers are severely inconvenienced as they are yet to receive fertilizer. The story of farmers in Ampara is a prime example of this situation. Seven team farmers organizations in Minipe Hasalaka expressed the following views. Farmers commenced cultivations last season after pawning their jewellery. They did not get sufficient harvest to reacquire their jewellery. They do not have enough paddy at their house to provide for their children's academic activities. They don't have a place to obtain a loan. Banks don't give them loans, nor are they providing them a grace period. Banks are stuck. As farmers, how can we live in this society? We don't have to go behind anyone if we are provided seeds, fertilizer and pesticides. From Parakrama Samudra also convened a media briefing today. We are becoming helpless day by day. They have been in debt for 3 seasons. Now they are saying water will be released from the Parakrama Samudra. Farmers are wondering whether or not to start cultivating. As you witnessed throughout the bulletin, Sri Lanka's economic crisis has worsened the lives of its citizenry, especially those in remote areas. The amount of suffering endured by many living in such villages is reflective of the severity of the situation. Newsfirst's Nisa Suryarachi reports more from rural Dehiyatta Kandiya.
This is the map of what used to be a lake here in Muvapatigala in Dehiyatta Kandiya. The lake used to be right behind me, where you see the wilderness now. This is a treasure that was stolen from the people. This was once a neighborhood, an area, a lake that was surrounded by people who used to cultivate around it. And this has been stolen by the people. They no longer have the authority to farm here. They no longer have the authority to do their cultivations here. They no longer have the authority to work the land. Now let's find out what's really going on in this area.
There are more than 450 families residing in this village. Most of these villagers here are dairy farmers who engage in cultivation as well. Prior to 2009, the bund of this river was damaged. The residents of this village collected their money and repaired the bund of the lake. However, in 2014, after a torrential downpour, another part of the river bund was damaged, and since then the river has not been used by the villagers.
This is what's left of what used to be a river bund here in this area. This was the land and this was the lake the people of this area were utilizing for their cultivation needs. But they are not allowed to do that anymore. What is the reason behind this? Newsfirst inquires.
Our main aim is dairy farming. We still engage in dairy farming and the production of dairy products. We contribute to the dairy industry that's in a shortage. Up from 2009 to 2014, we have been doing that. We are standing on the bund that was broken. We don't want the government to give us concessions. We will make this. We will at least skip 2 meals a day and make this bund. Just give us permission. We can't bring a vehicle here because they have erected an elephant fence. All the elephants are in the village. There is not even one elephant in this area. We will carry out our dairy farming here if the government gives us permission. All of us are low-income earners. They said they will provide concessions, but that hasn't happened yet.
These villagers are requesting the authorities to remove the fence as they are willing to spend their own money to repair the broken part of the bund, making way for dairy farmers to carry out their activities and support the dairy industry in the country.
Does this land, this country, these lives, do they belong to the government or the people of Sri Lanka? We report, you decide. With the people as always, I'm Nisa Suryarachi reporting for Newsfirst.
The COVID-19 pandemic claimed thousands of Sri Lankan lives, and Newsfirst revealed questionable transactions that took place during the height of the pandemic. Tonight, we take a look at the economic crimes relating to COVID-19.
Economic crimes.
Approximately 7 million doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine are to expire on Monday, the 31st of October 2022. The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health repeatedly requested the people of Sri Lanka to obtain the vaccine doses before delay. Pfizer Incorporated expects to roughly quadruple the prices of its COVID-19 vaccine to about $110 to $130 per dose after the United States government's current purchase program expires. Approximately 7 million doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine are to expire, and if they do, the value of those vaccines as per the current market rate would be astronomical. While vaccine stocks are about to expire, leading to another colossal waste, Sri Lanka also lost a large sum of money when it delayed placing orders for the vaccine. In early 2020, Sri Lanka recorded its first ever COVID-19 infection, and it did not take long for the coronavirus to spread across the country. What did Sri Lanka do when other countries devoted their resources to develop a vaccine? Sri Lankan members of parliament and ministers dropped pots into rivers, and the so-called miracle tonic Dhammika Paniya was promoted widely, while there was absolutely no interest in procuring vaccines. Experts in the field of medicine repeatedly called for the government to procure vaccines. However, as Sri Lankan authorities opted for myth over science, the procurement of much-needed vaccines were delayed. On the 30th of December 2020, the United Kingdom granted approval for the emergency use of the AstraZeneca vaccine, prompting many other countries to place immediate orders for the vaccines. As it was also produced by the Serum Institute of India, there was ample opportunity for Sri Lanka to obtain the vaccine with ease. But what did Sri Lanka do? On the 22nd of January 2021, Sri Lanka's National Medicines Regulatory Authority granted approval for the vaccine. If the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka did not intervene to provide the necessary data, the procurement of the vaccines could have been delayed further. 6 days after the NMRA greenlit the vaccine, India delivered 500,000 doses of the vaccine to Sri Lanka for free under its Neighbourhood First policy. Even at that time, India had completed the delivery of vaccine doses to Bangladesh, Bhutan and the Maldives. Did Sri Lanka show any interest to procure more stocks of the vaccine even after the free shipment? It was on the 23rd of February 2021 that Sri Lanka's cabinet gave the green light to procure the vaccine, exactly a month after the NMRA gave the go-ahead. Thereafter, the State Pharmaceutical Corporation inked an agreement to procure 10 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine at a cost of $52.5 million with the Serum Institute of India, and another agreement with the UK firm for 3.5 million doses of the vaccine. As per the agreement, a shipment of 500,000 doses were received in February 2021, and during the pandemic period, Sri Lanka received approximately 1.264 million doses. The Serum Institute of India suspended delivery due to high demand, and this led to a delay in the delivery of shipments to Sri Lanka as well. As uncertainty ensued over the Indian-produced vaccine, Sri Lanka directed its attention to the Chinese-developed Sinopharm vaccine. Bangladesh had procured a dose of the Sinopharm vaccine for $10. However, Sri Lanka was made to procure it for $15. Shah Ali Farhad, the special assistant to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, in a tweet said the Bangladesh cabinet had approved a proposal to allocate $150 million to procure 15 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine, adding that this was a bilateral agreement struck between Bangladesh and China. Pursuant to the tweet, a discourse emerged on social media alleging that China, which is offering the Sinopharm vaccine to Bangladesh at a rate of $10 each, had sold the vaccine to Sri Lanka at $15 per dose. Eventually, Sri Lanka had to pay an additional $70 million for the Chinese vaccine. Senior Sri Lankan citizens above the age of 60 were identified as the most vulnerable group for COVID-19. Sri Lanka lost 12,883 senior citizens to the coronavirus, which is approximately 76.8% of the total COVID fatalities in the country. If the COVID-19 vaccine was procured on time, many of these lost lives could have been saved. Yet, there appears to be no proper investigation into the procurement process. Is it not wise to at least institute an investigation now on the delays in making decisions and the deals that took place under the guise of the pandemic? These are matters that directly impact the people's lives and the taxpayers' money. While massive economic crimes, fraud and corrupt deals continue to emerge each day, citizens in rural Sri Lanka are deprived of even the barest necessities. The purpose of Gammadha's door-to-door campaign, however, is to seek out these communities, hear their plight and provide solutions. Today was day 20 of this year's edition of Gammadha's door-to-door campaign.
Despite its appearance, what you see here is a bridge situated in Uwaparanagama. The people use this temporary bridge to cross each morning. We do not ask for much. Our only request is for a permanent bridge to be constructed here. Protect the lives of our people. While massive economic crimes, fraud and corrupt deals continue to emerge each day, citizens in rural Sri Lanka are deprived of even the barest necessities. The Gamma at the door-to-door team came across this village on day 20 of the program to identify the issues of the people. Today, our teams toured villages in the Kegol, Ampara and Badulla districts to grasp the ground reality of our own people's lives. The Haggala Oya separates the Galahagama, Kabilladova and Valimada Vidurapala villages, falling under the purview of the Uwa Paranagama Divisional Secretariat. Although these villages can be accessed by crossing the Haggala Oya, there isn't a bridge in place for that purpose. The rainy season brings about further dangers to their already woeful lives. Over 300 families living in all these villages depend on a temporary crossing set up over a tree. The people living in the Seniapura village in Kappajipola in the Valibana Divisional Secretariat are vegetable farmers by profession. However, this time around they did not make a good profit at all. While the shortage of fertilizer had taken a toll on the cultivations, the lack of pesticides has also put their plants at risk. We can produce 10,000 kilograms from this. But have a look here, there is less than 1,000 kilograms. How will there be food security in the country? There are worms in this. Will anyone eat this? We do not have quality pesticides to use for the cultivations. The people from the Selvapuram, Uranigama, Attama, Sarvodyapuram villages in Ampara have been left in dire straits, unable to engage in their cultivations. This is due to the shortage of fertilizer for their cultivations. The common issue experienced by all these villagers is the lack of access to clean drinking water. Almost every single well in the area has dried up, and today the people are forced to consume unclean water. These people have one dream, and that is to ensure that their children do not have to suffer like they do. The Gum at the Door-to-Door program scientifically analyzes the issues faced by the people and proposes solutions to these issues. The Gum at the Door-to-Door program is supported by the University of Peradeniya.
News First with the people.
News First, main sponsor.
25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD.
අයිවන් සතුටින් ඉන්නේ වයරින් කරලා වයරින් කිරුවේ ඉස්ලොන් පොලිකොන් යොදලා පොලිකොන් එන්නේ ඉස්ලොන් නිවසින් හින්දා කීපුරාම විශ්වාසය සතුට පැතිරිලා.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking, electricity and AC wiring, S-Lawn Polycon cable trunking, suitable for white walls, prevent spread of fire, double lock technology. Ask for S-Lawn Polycon by name.
25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD.
අයිවන් සතුටින් ඉන්නේ වයරින් කරලා වයරින් කිරුවේ ඉස්ලොන් පොලිකොන් යොදලා.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking and AC wiring, S-Lawn Polycon cable trunking.
Welcome back to the news. Two of Sri Lanka's most savoured street food have made it to CNN's Quest World of Wonder. Newsfirst's Tina Marian tells us more.
When it comes to street food, Asia delivers big on variety and flavour. According to CNN's Quest World of Wonder, Sri Lanka's acharu and hoppers have made it to the top 20 in the 50 of the best street foods in Asia. To celebrate the region's bottomless culinary talent and passion for food, CNN rounded up a 50 must-try, much-loved street foods and beverages in Asia in an alphabetical order.
Acharu tops the list, while hoppers come in at number 16 in the top 20 of the best street food in Asia. Let's start with the leader of the board, acharu, also known as pickle.
Pickles acharu get a Sri Lankan twist as it tastes sweet, sour and spicy with pickled fruits and vegetables that make a perfect street food snack. Seasoned with local spices, chili, turmeric, sugar and salt, the offerings will differ depending on the region and seasons. It might be Ceylon olives or called verelu, wood apple, pineapple, amberella, mango, jackfruit or eggplant. Sinhala acharu is famous on Sinhala New Year, Dansal and on many other occasions. Acharu is the perfect side dish for many meals in Sri Lanka, be it breakfast, lunch or dinner. Let's hop to hoppers in number 16. Hoppers are a famous and special street food across Sri Lanka. Hoppers are called appa in Sri Lanka. Hoppers are the Sri Lankan answer to the pancake. The batter is made from a slightly fermented concoction of rice flour, coconut milk or coconut water and a bit of sugar. Most of the time, people used to make hoppers with coconut milk because it gives a heavenly taste. Hoppers can be sweet or savory, but one of the local favorites is egg hoppers. These hopper pans are cooked over a medium heat gas flame. Hoppers tend to come out crispy around the edges and thicker at the bottom. Plain hoppers or egg hoppers are garnished with lunumiris and a sample of onions.
The Sri Lanka Navy's latest warship reached Singapore over the weekend and will reach Colombo in just over a week.
The offshore patrol vessel P627 of Sri Lanka Navy, which is set to sail for her homebound journey from Seattle, United States on the 3rd of September 2022, called at the port of Changi in Singapore on the 22nd of October 2022. After having called at the port of Manila in the Philippines, P627 began her homebound journey from there on the 16th of October. Having covered a passage of about 1,393 nautical miles, she arrived in Singapore on the 22nd of October for replenishment and services. When the ship arrived at the port of Changi, the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Singapore, Shashikala Premawardana, was also present to welcome the ship. During this long sea voyage, P627 has thus far sailed about 9,093 nautical miles in 50 days in the Pacific Ocean and South China Sea. Meanwhile, P627 is scheduled to arrive at the port of Colombo in the first week of November 2022.
Leader of the opposition Sajith Premadasa stressed that the agreements reached with the International Monetary Fund, commonly known as the IMF, are yet to be disclosed to the country.
This government is playing a new game. When the president is questioned about the IMF staff level agreement, he says there is no agreement but an understanding. Thereafter, when more taxes are imposed, the president, addressing the nation, says that taxes are imposed based on the needs of the IMF. Do not conceal this agreement. What is the truth? We will not allow you to conceal this from the people. As an opposition, we say that there are means of generating revenue rather than taxing the people. That is to nab those who looted from Sri Lanka. Nab those mentioned in the Pandora Papers. Recover those dollars before taxing the people. The opposition leader made these comments while addressing the Balamandala meeting of the Galagedara electorate.
In some weather news, the deep depression developing in the Bay of Bengal has intensified into a cyclonic storm and will make landfall between Tinkona Island and Sandwip, close to Bangladesh's Barisal, in the early morning of Tuesday. Cyclone Sitrang will majorly impact the spread over West Bengal and Bangladesh. Though it poses no direct impact on Sri Lanka, many areas continue to receive rainfall. The spill gates of multiple reservoirs have been opened due to heavy rains experienced in those areas. Sluice gates of the Castlereagh Reservoir opened earlier today. 3 gates of the Mausa Calais Reservoir were also opened on Monday morning. Spill gates of the Norton Bridge Vimala Surendra Reservoir were opened as well. The Payagala Malegoda Road, which leads to the Dodangoda interchange of the Southern Expressway, was inundated. As a result, homes and places of business were underwater. Byroads and many low-lying areas in Pinnaduwa Keraminia in Ambalangoda were also inundated. With the rising water levels of the Ging River, byroads and low-lying areas in Telikada, Dodampe, Ganegama and Horagampitiya were also inundated. The National Building Research Organisation, or the NBRO, says that landslide warnings issued for many divisional secretariats in Gaul, Kalutara, Kegaul, Nuwara and Ratnapura districts will remain in effect until Tuesday due to heavy rains. 2 houses in Gintota Gaul were heavily damaged after a mound of earth collapsed on them. Families residing in 8 houses were evacuated owing to landslide risks. Another mound of earth collapsed onto a house in Vattugedara in Balapitiya. Due to the heavy downpour, a wall in the Anandarama temple in Vatugedara was destroyed. Railway operations along the hill country were halted for 3 hours after a mound of earth collapsed onto the railway track in close proximity to the Hatton railway station. Hindus across the world celebrate the Diwali festival today. Diwali, also known as Deepavali, is a festival of lights that celebrates the triumph of light over dark and good over evil and the blessings of victory, freedom and enlightenment.
The Deepavali festival commemorates the defeat of the demon Naragasun by Lord Vishnu. It is further written in ancient folklore that the demon requested Lord Vishnu to help all those in the world see the light similar to how he did now. Hindu devotees light up the night on days like this, praying that the lives of all would also be enlightened through it. In a message to mark the Diwali festival today, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says in the spirit of Deepavali, let us all cast aside all differences and come together to collectively dispel the darkness that is currently shrouding our motherland with unprecedented challenges. In a message on the occasion of Deepavali, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that even though 1,000 reasons can be created for division, everyone should put aside differences and work together at this point of time. An event to celebrate the Deepavali festival was held at the office of the opposition leader today. In light of Deepavali celebrations, a special puja was held today at the Bambalipitiya Vajra Pillayar Kovil premises. A group including Minister Vidura Wickramanayake attended the puja.
අයිවන් සතුටින් ඉන්නේ වයරින් කරලා වයරින් කිරුවේ ඉස්ලොන් පොලිකොන් යොදලා.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking and AC wiring, Eslon Polycon cable trunking.
In more news from here at home, legal action is to be taken against individuals who caused harm to the Yala National Park over the weekend.
The Department of Wildlife said that strict legal action will be taken against individuals who cause harm or harassment to the wild animals inside the Yala National Park after footage of a fleet of SUVs entering the Yala National Park and violating the park rules started making rounds on social media. Inquiries revealed that the incident had taken place on Saturday the 22nd of October this year. Director General of Wildlife Chandana Surya Bandara told Newsfirst that the Department of Wildlife is in possession of the information regarding such people and the necessary evidence to take action against them. He said that Minister Mahinda Amaravira had given clear instructions to institute immediate legal action against all individuals who had caused harm to wild animals using vehicles inside the Yala National Park.
Bringing you the latest updated news with the finest visuals, News First has partnered up with the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, the biggest broadcasting union in the world.
The 2022 T20 Cricket World Cup is in full swing and the quicks fired at Hobart as Bangladesh downed the Netherlands in the Super 12s of the ICC T20 World Cup earlier today. Bangladesh have got their ICC Men's T20 World Cup campaign underway in style by registering a hard-fought 9-run victory over the Netherlands in Hobart earlier today. Shakib Al Hasan and Leighton Das are among Bangladesh's most experienced batters, but the pair combined for just 16 runs between them as the Netherlands produced a disciplined bowling effort. It was left to Asif Hossain to step up and the young left-hander produced the goods with a quick-fire 38 from just 27 deliveries to ensure his team was able to post a decent total. Bangladesh were made to defend 144 runs on a quick turning pitch at the Bellary Oval. Taskin Ahmed set the tone when he removed Vikramjit Singh and Max O'Dowd with the first 2 balls of Netherlands' run chase on his way to career best figures, and he was well supported by Hassan Mahmood. Skipper Shakib Al Hasan was relatively expensive during his 4 overs, and a pair of run-outs in the field made it a good day for Bangladesh as they got their tournament started with a victory. The only batter who looked assured at the crease for the Netherlands was Colin Ackerman, with the right-hander finding the middle of the bat on his way to a career best score of 62 from 48 runs.
Should be taken.
and the fans go. Well-deserved win for Bangladesh.
More World Cup action followed earlier today as South Africa and Zimbabwe had to satisfy themselves with sharing points as their Super 12 encounter at the Bellerive Oval in Hobart didn't yield any result, with rain causing frequent interruptions and delays.
At first, the match was reduced to 9 overs per side due to frequent interruptions caused by rain. Even though it kept drizzling lightly, the match went on fine until the first over of the South African innings. Zimbabwe was staring down the barrel at 19 for 4, but Wesley Madhver played a superb knock of an unbeaten 35 from just 18 deliveries to help his team to a competitive total of 79 for 4. Madhver added 60 runs for the 5th wicket with Milton Shumba, who supported him well with an individual contribution of 18 from 19 deliveries. Zimbabwe scored 79 for 4 in their 9 overs and the Proteas was set a DLS target of 85 to chase down in their quota of 9 overs initially, but was reduced to 64 from 7 overs after the interruption. De Kock realized the necessity to press on the accelerator with rain threat looming large, and he started going on the charge from the very beginning as he smashed Tende Chatara for 23 runs in the first over of the innings. South Africa kept cruising towards the target, but the match couldn't resume again when rain caused another interruption after the 3rd over.
And with that, it's a wrap of prime time news here on TV1. However, stay tuned to News First on TV1 as Face the Nation is up next. As always, take care, stay safe, and good night.